Hi, my name is Kayla Malone, and this is my Module 6 case analysis presentation on the hot coffee case, officially known as Liebeck versus McDonald's restaurants. So, for the majority of Americans, we're never really too far away from the eye catching golden arches of one of the most popular fast food restaurants in the world, McDonald's. This restaurant can be traced back to the 1950s in San Bernardino, California, on the corner of 14th and Northeast Street. It was originally created by two brothers, Richard and Maurice McDonald's, but it was bought from them by Ray Kroc, an American businessman. And while he kept the original name of the brothers, he quickly became the face of the company. Many of his choices led into what we now see McDonald's as today. Through much of his leadership, McDonald's expanded to around 36,000 restaurants in over 100 different countries. Their revenue increased. As of 2022, they reported $24.2 billion, which was a major increase from the 1950s, where they calculated roughly $350,000 in revenue. And as of today, they are serving roughly 70 million people every single day. When calculated, this comes to about 100 hamburgers per second, which is kind of crazy to think about. But it should really come as no surprise that a 15-cent hamburger and a business built on speed, lower prices, and volume would come to symbolize the fast food industry as a whole and have their iconic logo decorating almost every major city across America. But much of this success does not come without challenges and trials, especially the legal kind in today's. This leads us to the Liebeck versus McDonald's restaurant case. It was in 1994. Stella Liebeck, depicted in this little cartoon, um, bought coffee in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She placed the coffee in between her legs to apply cream and sugar, make it to her taste, and it ended up spilling across the lower half of her body. Due to this spill, there and third-degree burns across the entirety of her lower body, and this started 2+ years in and out of medical facilities, receiving skin grafts and things like that. She was reportedly willing to settle with McDonald's for $20,000 to cover some of the medical costs that her insurance did not cover. McDonald's ended up refusing this offer and counter-offered a mere $800. This disregard for Stella Liebeck's personal well-being and the refusal to take any responsibility in the mistakes and the injuries caused started this case. Looking at Liebeck's case, I think it can be simplified into one simple sentence given by her legal team, which that the product, the McDonald's coffee, was unreasonably dangerous and the temperature should have been lower. So let's look at some of what McDonald's reports themselves. It says that McDonald's to brew its coffee at around 195 to 200 degrees and then sell it at about 180 to 190 degrees. For reference, many of our home machines brew at 135 to 150 degrees. So there's about a 50-degree difference in the brewing temperatures. For this, they said that many experts will agree that higher brewing temperatures equate to better tasting coffee. But I don't think a better tasting coffee is going to make up for 2 years in and out of medical facilities. It said she suffered second and third degree burns, the two middle pictures in this diagram. According to the Cleveland Clinic, that when these third degree burns happen, many people don't even recognize that they've been burned due to nerve damage. They lead to even serious problems because they don't realize the extent or the severity of their burns. The University of Wisconsin even said that temperatures of any liquid at 156 degrees or higher can cause third degree burns in just a matter of 1 to 3 seconds. This leads us into McDonald's case, which I think can be simplified into 3 points. The first was that Liebeck was at fault for placing the cup in her lap. This, of course, was true and it is reflected in the verdict, but the problem is not that the coffee was spilled, it's that when it was spilled, it caused second and third degree burns, and there was no responsibility taken on McDonald's part for these injuries. The second and third argument kind of go together a little bit. Liebeck should have removed her clothing to lessen the severity of the burns, and that Liebeck's age played a very big part in the severity of her burns. Again, Miss Liebeck was 79 years old in the passenger seat of her grandson's car. I don't think any woman of grandmother age or anybody of that age is going to be able to kind of take off all their clothes that have been burned to not be burned with such severity. Liebeck's age play a big factor in due to the skin condition kind of wearing down as we get older and making it easier to burn and bruise and things like that. But again, this doesn't have anything to do with the coffee being spilled. It has to do with the temperature that the coffee was spilled at. There was no reason for the coffee to be that hot and to cause that severe burns and medical attention. So this kind of leads into the verdict. It was eventually found that McDonald's was 80% guilty. Liebeck sustained the other 20% of guilt, and jurors awarded Liebeck $200,000 in compensation as well as $2.7 million in punitive damages. This verdict and of guilt and the damages that they had to pay to Miss Liebeck were very important and definitely shocked a lot of people. The 20% guilty verdict did land with Miss Liebeck because at the time of the spill, it was again placed in her lap, which it probably shouldn't have been in general, and the fact that the coffee cup had a warning of hot contents. This leads to the effect in the business world, which relates a lot to our warning labels. While there was a warning label on Miss Liebeck's cup, it was deemed not descriptive enough to warn people that by spilling a simple cup of coffee that they would have second, third degree burns, spend 2+ years in medical facilities. Kind of due to this case, because of this case, the general public and the business world as a whole has really taken a step back to review how we view the food industry and the warning labels that we commonly read over in the products that we use and buy daily. These are my references. Thank you so much.